r/AskReddit. What are some deep, thought-provoking questions to ask someone to know them better? What is your idea of happiness? Seems to be pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on life on other planets? Usually warrants a seriously face, and I go, no, really. And most people will answer then seg into something along those lines that they're interested in, and we're discussing all kinds of things. Open-ended topics are great to get to know people. A few thought-provoking questions that I would ask someone. What are you looking forward to this week? Should everyone on the planet be striving toward a common goal? If so, what would that be? If you could teach the entire world just one concept, what would it be? What concept do you think could have the most significant positive impact on humanity? Which parallel universe versions of yourself would you want to meet, and why? What level of toastiness do you like your toast? I usually do a level 2, maybe 2.5, if I'm feeling froggy. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Nope, it's a long burger, but isn't a burger a sandwich? What do moths pee? Dust. Why is your favorite book/movie/game your favorite? Everybody's got a favorite, blank, but asking them what they love about it is a great way to learn more about their interests and to learn more about them as a person. Personally, I prefer asking people what are you reading lately or watching, instead of what's your favorite, because I feel like what's your favorite puts people on the spot. If I don't know that they are readers, I might phrase it as have you read anything interesting lately? Alternatively, I might say something like I've been looking for something funny or scary or whatever to read. Any suggestions? Another reading related is what genre do you typically read? Favorite childhood memory? What's something you wish was socially acceptable? What weird habits did you have as a kid? For example, I would always hold the jug upside down when pouring milk. Do you believe there are other life forms in the universe? What fictional character do you relate to the most? If time was frozen for 8 hours right now, and you could still move around freely, what would you do? What superpower would you want, and why? What makes you feel at peace? For example, you can visibly see the stress melt off of me once I'm out of the city. What's a hobby you've always wanted to pick up, but haven't? Do you like pickles on a burger? Do you believe in Sasquatch? What's the most difficult decision you've had to make to see your dreams come true? Tell me something about you that I couldn't know just by looking at you. It's interesting what the person answers with. There are like 30 questions that, if asked and answered truthfully to a man and woman, they make each other fall in love. One question I remember was your house was burning and you can save only one object from it. What do you save? Questions like these are really helpful to find out what the other person values in a fun way. If the universe is expanding, what is it expanding into? Whoa, more universe. I like asking people what was the most historical event in their lifetime. You get a lot of interesting responses ranging from Vietnam to Princess Diana's death, or landing on the moon and the first US black president. It's wonderful conversation. What are you most passionate about in life? What makes you angry? If you could be famous, what would you want to be famous for? If you had $1 million to donate, what charity would you donate to, and why? Give me 2 words to describe. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? Realize, realize. What was your relationship like with your mother/father growing up? You wanna know somebody? Ask about their parents. You'll learn why they behave like they do, and it's good to see if there is any drama to know ahead of time. Instead of, how are you? Ask, what is something interesting that happened today? Have there been any changes in how you're feeling? What improved for you today? Is there anything you want to talk about from your day? What has been hardest for you this week? What made you smile today? What would you like to be different tomorrow? What do you wish you did more of today? When did you feel appreciated/understood/loved today? What is your biggest regret? Can either make you really like someone or really despise them. A fun habit of mine is to play different psychological tests. It intrigues whoever you are with at the moment and lets you learn more about them. It may not be 100% accurate, but the more you play it, the more you kinda start to understand different patterns and personality types. My personal favorite is the cube psychological test. But there's also one where you're walking through the woods You can just look psychological test games on YouTube and you'll surely find something. What do you find most important in life and why? I sat down for an annual review last week and my boss's first question was, so, what's keeping you up at night? Led to a pretty good discussion. I like to ask people what the oldest item they own is. Always leads to interesting conversation and you find out a lot about the person. What 3 things do you do with your free time? Never fails to get them talking about stuff they're passionate about, and it tells you what they're passionate about. I like asking, what do you think are 3 qualities others admire in you? And then, what are 3 qualities you admire in yourself? Helps you get to know someone better and it always seems to give that person a boost. I always ask people what their second greatest fear is. Everyone knows their first off the top of their head. It's the truly introspective ones who know the second right away. That already will show you something about them. Beyond that, most people have to think quite hard and will bring up a couple different fears. It really reveals a lot about a person, and if it doesn't in the end, it's at least quite conversational. Things in life are great, almost perfect. So now imagine it's 10 years from now. Describe your near perfect life. Are you married? Kids? What do you do for work? For fun? Is your husband hot? What do you love about him? What amazing things do you do together? Are guys huge decorators for the holidays? I could go on for days. This shows you their hopes, dreams, and fears. Look for what they say, how they say it, and what they don't pick as answers. I'm saving all of these because I have a date coming up. Also, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? What's your least favorite movie/book? I go to a lot of business dinners. After the business talk is finished, small talk's over, which I hate. My go-tos that typically get people talking and thinking are, if you were dying tomorrow, what would be your last meal? Or, if I feel the people won't be comfortable with that. 2. What product is terrible as generic? One question I like to ask people is, if you had all the resources, time, and land available to build whatever you want, a house, a park, a monument, what would you build? I'm no architect nor psychologist, and I know it kind of sounds like an interview question, but I believe it can trigger a very interesting discussion with that person. And you can keep asking about the reasons and details afterwards. That question is something I came up while I was dating my last partner. When I asked her that question, she started talking about how she would imagined her dream house, full of large windows and mosaics, with a colorful garden, and so, from there, it turned into a surprisingly long and pleasant conversation. What is your ex's version of that breakup? People are surprisingly and unintentionally honest. Typically not a good idea to bring up exes if you're on a date, but if you're with your friends then this can probably be a good conversation.